I am your host, Captivating Christian, and a hospital is ordered to keep an 11-month-old in Texas on life support. Tinsley Lewis has a rare heart defect and has not left the hospital since birth. Doctors say that she is in a lot of pain and will not get better, and they want to remove her from life support. This story is coming from NBC News out of Fort Worth, Texas. A Texas appeals court on Friday has agreed to delay the judge's ruling that would have allowed the hospital to end the life-sustaining treatment for an 11-month-old girl who doctors say is in a lot of pain and will not get better. The Second Court of Appeals in Fort Worth has ordered the Cook's Children's Medical Center to not remove Tinsley from life support until it makes its final ruling in the case. The appeals court has not immediately scheduled a hearing in the case. However, on Thursday, a judge in the Tarrant County has denied a request for Tinsley's mom, Trinity Lewis, to issue an injunction that would have stopped the hospital from removing her daughter from life support. Doctors at the Fort Worth Hospital have planned to remove Tinsley from life support back in November after it invoked the 10-day rule, which can be employed when a family disagrees with a doctor who says that life-sustaining treatment should be stopped. The law stipulates that if the hospital ethics committee agrees with the doctor, that treatment should be withdrawn after 10 days if the new provider cannot be found. Efforts to find another facility to take the girl have been unsuccessful. The hospital says that it had reached out to more than 20 facilities. Kimberly Schwartz, a spokeswoman for the Texas Right to Life and anti-abortion group that is advocating for Tinsley, says that her organization was grateful and relieved that the appeals court has granted the emergency stay. She says that the court actions would give the group more time to contact doctors and hospitals for Tinsley's treatment. This gives us hope for Tinsley, she says, and this is a prayer answered. However, a spokeswoman for the Cook's Children's Medical Center did not immediately return a response. Tinsley has been at the Cook's County Hospital since her premature birth. The hospital says that she has a rare heart defect and suffers from chronic lung disease and severe chronic high blood pressure. She hasn't come off a ventilator since going into respiratory arrest back in early July and requests full respiratory and cardiac support. However, Lewis's mother testified at a hearing last month that despite her daughter's sedation, she has a sense of the girl's likes and dislikes, describing her as sassy. And she says Tinsley likes to get her nails done, but does not like to get her hair brushed. Tinsley's mom went on to say, "I want to be the one to make the decisions for her about removing her daughter from life support." At the hearing as well, Dr. J. Duncan, one of Tinsley's physicians, testified that the girl is in pain and that treatment was no longer benefiting her. The case, however, has become a rallying point for many Republicans in Texas. Early Friday, the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, and Governor Greg Abbott and the state's Solicitor General sent a letter to the appeals court asking to delay the judge's order. They sent a statement saying, "I will continue to fight for Tinsley, and my office will continue to use all necessary resources to ensure that she will not be deprived of her right to live." And once again, actually, this story has been brought to my attention from a fellow YouTuber by the name of Chocolate Bay, otherwise known as Deshaun Fairley, and I'd like to give a quick shout out to him before we move on to the next story. Okay, and in other news, this is reporting out of Houston from CNN. A Houston man has Keith Atkins, 39, made Dominique Jefferson, his fiancée on New Year's Eve after 3 months of dating. Just days later, on Saturday, he allegedly shot a woman he was dating after an argument, the Houston Police Department said in a statement. Her family told the affiliate Jefferson was the victim. Officers responded to a shooting call at an apartment complex in Houston, and a witness believed that the victim's boyfriend fled the scene. A witness told officers Akins appeared to leave but then come back, confronted a concerned citizen who was trying to help the woman, the department said. Akins fired a shot in the direction of the citizen and fled, a witness told officers. Akins then surrendered to the officers at the Houston Police Department Northeast Police Station. He was questioned by detectives and subsequently charged in the shooting. And in other news, a high school football star's death highlights the rising rate of suicides among black youth. Bryce Gordy took his life days after he was enrolled at Georgia Tech on a football scholarship. Suicide rates soar among black youth. A 17-year-old Florida high school football star died by suicide on Monday, days before he was enrolled at Georgia Tech on an athletic scholarship. The death of Bryce Gordy rocked his family and the local sports world. It also highlights the rising rate of suicides among black youth and the difficulties they often face getting help. Bryce died on December 30th, shortly after 4 a.m. in the Deerfield Beach, about 17 miles of Fort Lauderdale. The medical examiner's office ruled his death a suicide. In addition to his talent at football, his uncle, Thomas Gowdy, said Bryce had planned on studying engineering. He also called his nephew a borderline genius. Bryce's uncle said that his nephew had been under a lot of pressure and taking care of his mother and younger siblings. His mother, Siobhan Wendell, said in a since-deleted Facebook Live post that Bryce had been struggling and becoming paranoid in the days before his death. The family had fallen upon financial hardships and was dealing with homelessness. Homelessness youth are at greater risk of emotional distress and suicide attempts than their peers, said a 2018 study published at the American Academy of Pediatrics. But suicide rates are up for all youth. From 2007 to 2017, the suicide rate for adolescents and young adults between the ages of 10 to 24 have risen 56%, according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Among black youth in particular, the rates of them taking their own lives have soared. In a study last year, the Journal of Community Health had found that the suicide rate were disproportionately higher among black adolescents from 2001 to 2017. The rate for black teen boys had raised 60%, according to the study, and among black teen girls, the rate had nearly tripled, rising to an astonishing 182%. The Congressional Black Caucus, in a report last month, rang the alarm, the crisis of black youth suicide in America, found that African American adolescents are less likely than the other racial or ethnic groups to receive proper mental health care. An urgent call to action for all Americans is needed. If there is someone that you know in crisis, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and that number is 800-273-8255. You can text HOME, HOME, to 741-741. Again, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 800-273-8255. You can also text the word HOME, HOME, to the number 741-741. or you can visit speakofsuicide.com for resources and additional resources. Once again, thank you for watching TCN News for January 5th, 2020. I ask that you please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, please be the change that you want to see. So if you want change, you have to be that change. It starts with you. Peace.